Alright, YouTube folks, feel free to skip ahead about a minute. I'm finishing getting things set up and pulled up here, and I'm going to give people just a second to get into the stream. Morning, folks. Hey, morning, Rat Poison. Alright, good morning, everyone. My name is Phil Gallagher. I run Thraben University. Today we're going to continue to stream with Brightling D&T. The deck list is below the stream for anyone who is interested in it. I haven't made any changes to my initial builds yet. I'm still sort of in initial data gathering stages. To say a few brief words, Remorseful Cleric and Brightling have both overperformed in the main deck in very, very different ways. Remorseful Cleric has let me steal a lot of game ones from Dredge in particular, meaning that my matchup percentage shot up, because you usually lose game 1 versus Dredge, and you can take games 2 and 3. But if you can steal game 1 some percentage of the time, then that's going to lead to you almost always winning that matchup. Because it's pretty easy to draw and resolve a Rest in Peace or equivalent hate card in one of 2 post-sideboard games. And Brightling does silly things. I don't need to talk about them. You'll see some in a little while. Yes, and we're back to the good planes in the deck. We didn't make that mistake again, so we're okay to go. Again, not 100% sold on the sideboard. I have a handful of one-ofs over here that aren't necessarily required. I would say that these 10 cards I'm very, very sold on, and these 5 cards are the ones that are still in consideration. You know, the idea is that I want Relic Warder and War and Peace for the mirror, that I want, like, War and Peace, Recruiter, Brightling, Prelate for matchups like Miracles, and Relic Warder is just a nice catch-all in a weird open metagame where who knows what people are playing. That's all I'll say about the deck list. Let's just jam some games. My games have been well. Alright, looks like I stopped partway through League last time. This hand looks solid. Let's keep it. I would love for my opponent to be playing a non-basic land-heavy deck, so I can just, like, play Vial, waste them, and then, like, let the Violet 2 take over the game. We'll see whether or not that's actually realistic. Mountain. Swift Spear. Oh, no. Well, so much for these Wastelands being good. However, the Stoneforge Mystic and the Jitte will be just fine. So I feel like I've got this game locked down with Stoneforge and Jitte if I don't just die super quickly. So I think I'm actually just going to, like, Swords the Plowshares, the Monetary Swift Spear, in response to the first spell that they play on their turn. No, I think I want to Swords the Plowshares this turn. On my next turn, I'll tap both Wastelands to put in a Jitte. End step, put in a Stoneforge for Batterskull, I think. But this hand is pretty darn good, so I could probably play my spells in just about any order and win this game. So that 2 mana there suggests to me that my opponent has an Eidolon of the Great Revel, and I'd rather remove that than the Swift Spear. Well, that's just nuts. So now I get the Batterskull with this one. My opponent is going to be obligated to remove it. Then end step, I'll put in another one, getting Sword of Fire and Ice. I'll have a Batterskull. It'll be gross. And even if my opponent answers his second Stoneforge, I'll still get to, like, play out a Jitte, put in a Remorseful Cleric, and do my thing. Hey, D-Hop, thank you very much for the host. It's a big host. So to anyone coming in, hello, my name's Phil Gallagher. I run Thraben University. Today we are streaming with Mono White D&T featuring Brightling, who is amazing. Been very, very impressed by that card, generally speaking. I said always yes to that, but whatever. Our hand is acceptable, yes. I can die, though. I can die to, like, Bolt, Fire Blast. So if I just attack, I go up to 14. If my opponent has Bolt, Fire Blast, that hits me for 10, then Swift Spear finishes me off. If my opponent Fire Blasts my Stoneforge if I go for a Jitte attack, that doesn't really matter, because I'll just win the game with the Cleric. Spy, thank you very much for auto-hosting. Sulfuric Vortex, you say? Well, that's a little annoying. It's going to be tight racing that. A Flicker Wisp would be a stellar draw to just like flicker this out and gain a bunch of life. So accordingly, I am going to tick my vial up here. So I can put in Batterskull, and that can like invalidate the Swift Spear, and then I can move the Jitte, or I can play Remorseful Cleric. But I think what's probably correct is to Stoneforge in Sword of Fire and Ice, equip Sword of Fire and Ice to Remorseful Cleric, and attack in, and try to draw some cards. Because if I can draw a Flicker Wisp, this game is over. I'm probably not taking this game. I just really need to gain just a couple more points of life. I checked up the vial for Flicker Wisp reasons because it was one of my best draws. Yep, okay. That's fine. Well, it's not fine, but it's happening. Alright, and then I'm dead to the Sulfuric Vortex trigger. Rats. Alright, so it was burn, loss, game 1 loss to Vortex. Alright, so Relic Order, Sword, Prelate. Alright, so I'm going to make a pile of things that I'll consider because I have a lot of decent cards and a handful of acceptable cards. So Revokers are going to go out, and Recruiters are going to go out, and Crusader is going to go out, and Sword of Fire and Ice is going to go out since I'm going to replace it with Sword of War and Peace. Now what? The Cleric main deck has been much better than I anticipated it would be. So I know my opponent has Vortex in the main deck. And so I really need to respect the Vortex, probably by playing these 3 cards. Relic Order is probably the least good of those. I want this, I want this, and I want these for sure. The paths are medium, the Relic Order is medium. Cleric is still an aggressive 2/1 flyer. So I will consider keeping it in the deck purely for that reason. But I will probably cut my 2 clerics and maybe go down to the 23rd land. Like, cut one of my non-basics. And then play the 2 paths and just leave the cat in the board. How does this look? That looks pretty good. Ooh. This hand is probably a trap. Because I can't actually interact with my opponent if they just draw a fistful of burn spells. Like, if they have creatures and permanent-based stuff, this is pretty solid. But if they just go, like, Lightning Bolt, Fork Bolt, Chain Lightning, Fire Blast me, like, I'm just gonna die to that. So this needs to go back. No. I don't actually know that this is better than a 5. This is rough. Like, 2 of these cards probably do something, and the other 2 are dead, so this is really a 4-card hand, I think. I'm going to 5. Alright, that was rough. That was rough, chat. We're going down. Okay, a Brightling. We're in business. I'm just going to Swords to Plowshares, the Goblin Guide. And keep my life total high-ish, rather than Rashad Port. Because, like, I would very likely just take, like, a Lightning Bolt to the face. Well. I am not currently willing to just run the Brightling out there. I need need to win this game with the Brightling. So that means I need to play it when I can protect it. So I'm really hoping that one of my next few cards is another white source. Alternatively, any land means that I can bump the Brightling to 4 toughness. Yeah, really happy to just like see that Flicker Wisp get bolted. Yeah, this is a great draw because Mom probably won't make it around the board. And I would be willing to tap out for Brightling with Mom up. Yep, that makes sense to me. Okay, well, that's fine. I can throw the first one away. Pause as opponent reads infinite lines of text on this card, and then shoots a bolt at it. This is not a good trade. But, like, my opponent's on 2 cards, I'm at 14, I have a Brightling, all I need to do is buy that time. I'm not going to draw Caracas. The 3rd Caracas is currently in the sideboard, and I scried the other one to the bottom. Now that I've shuffled, I can potentially draw Caracas. Well, they clearly don't have Vortex now. If they have Vortex, they had to draw it for turn. Otherwise, like, it already would be in play. No, the land's actually fine. Because it means I can play Brightling with one layer of protection. Is that just a Fire Blast at my face? Well, that doesn't bode well for me. Army of Thalia, thank you very much for subscribing. I appreciate your support. No, I don't think it's Price of Progress. I think it's double, like, Lightning Bolt effect. So I can just bounce this for 1 mana, or I can pay 4 mana and increase its toughness to 4, but I tap out. Pedro's, I didn't really want to give it Vigilance because I didn't know what I would need to do with my mana from there on out. Like, there was some possibility that I'd need to, like, bounce Brightling. Oh, no landfall, yeah, sure. That's correct. Playing and equipping Jitte does basically nothing unless my next card is a Flicker Wisp. Or a Council Judgment. Like, I think I'm in an attempt to race situation. And since my opponent also just, like, Fire Blasted me to the face at my end step prior to doing anything else, I think it was very clear that I was just dead. Oh, so you're not talking about for life gain reasons, you're talking about for, like, Brightling power toughness reasons. Oh, I see. Okay, so I had 5 mana, so I could have played equipped Jitte, leaving up 1 mana. I don't know whether I would have pumped or not. Yeah, that's something to think about. You're probably right. So we just started, and I lost to Burn. They had Sulfuric Vortex both games, so we're starting a new one. But more generally, leagues have been fine. Brightling is the answer to that question. I'm going to keep this. This is a double Ether Vial hand. It's a little action light, but, like, I have a Sword of Fire and Ice to draw some stuff. I have a Rishadan Port to lock down my opponent's mana while Vial ticks up. So this is an acceptable hand in terms of power level. Ah! The good old mirror. Do I want to port my opponent, or do I want to play my second vial? I think I want to port my opponent. I don't think it's crazy that Brightling got bought out again. JK! Alright, so my opponent has Lackey. I can vial in Remorseful Cleric to trade with it, if I tap out to play this sword. Otherwise, I don't really have, like, I don't really care what they have. So this is a tricky turn. If my opponent doesn't have Lackey and I just like Jam Sword, Vial in, Cleric, equip, and my opponent doesn't have like Tarfire or Incinerator plus Red Source, I just take over this game and win. But if my opponent does have Lackey and I have to like trade the Cleric for the Lackey, I might get pretty far behind. Well, actually, I'd be more inclined to, like, just play Vial and Port than I would be to play both Mom and Vial. I'm going to play the Sword. Because I think I need to... Oh, opponent's F6. That makes it easy. I want to play the Sword because the Goblins decks are now playing that really sweet Goblin Trashmaster or whatever it's called. And I want to start connecting with Sword of Fire and Ice before they get to just dump that into play and start destroying all of my artifacts. I'm going to leave this at 2 for right now. If I draw a Stoneforge, I'd love to put that in. How do I want to tap for this? I suppose I want to tap in a way that lets me port. No, I suppose my play for this turn is probably just... both Mom and Vile. So I'm going to leave my port up. Feels very good to be pre-scanned. Yeah. Well, that's pretty good too. No, I don't think I need to like put in a Stoneforge, equip a Stoneforge. I'm fine with just leaving this right here. I'd rather diversify a little bit. Because I don't really care about like this War Marshal or this Goblin token right now. And so in case my opponent does get to go like Matron into Trashmaster, I'd really like to just be able to like Vile in Stoneforge, get... Nah, that doesn't even work. Oh man, Goblin Trashmaster makes Mod War Marshal so much better. Thinking about that now. I mean, the Goblins lists that I've drafted up all have Trashmaster in the main deck. Are you kidding me? The card's crazy. Alright. Pro Red seems fine. Brightling's probably fine. These are the cards that I'd consider. Anyone who legitimately argues that Tuk Tuk Scrapper is better than Goblin Trashmaster needs to play more Magic before they're allowed to talk again. Like, Trashmaster is insane for the matchups where you actually want that effect. No, Mikey, I play almost no Modern whatsoever. Sorry, actually, I might not even want War and Peace. Like, it's pro-red, but, like, well, the trigger can be really good against Goblins when they fill up their hand, but I'm going to want to fetch these two first, and having the Batterskull around is something that can stabilize the board against a bunch of idiots is not irrelevant. I think the Brightlings are fine. Like, Brightling and Crusader are probably of approximate value. Approximately the same value, sorry. I'm just kind of wondering if like I want some of the first strikers for the early game. This is no good. This is a little weak, but I'm going to keep it. Do I want this Recruiter? It's not like I have anything amazing to search out with the recruiter. Like, it can get me another Stoneforge. Or, I feel like this is going to be slow with my hand. So, like, I'm going to go turn 1 Swords U, turn 2, play a Stoneforge Mystic, and then start doing stuff with my mana that way. So I feel like this is just a mana sink that I don't need with the current hand. So that's going to go on bottom. I don't think I want to play my second white source here. If my opponent has a wasteland, I'd rather them wasteland my port, or my wasteland, I'd rather them wasteland my port. Yes, I am sponsored in part by Card Hoarder. Ooh, Card Hoarder. Really, Card Hoarder has treated me very, very well. They've given... What the hell does that do? Sacrifice a goblin, regenerate target creature. Interesting. Okay. So sorry, to finish that thought, I'm going to... Card Hoarder gives me a $500 loan account so that I can stream things that people want to see, and so that I can go and really do some meaningful testing. And I'm very thankful to them for that. Their customer service is also pretty baller. If you're looking for cards, they're a good place to check out. They've been very good to me. So I'm going to play a Flicker Wisp this turn so that I can try to connect in the air. And I'll flicker my Stoneforge Mystic to just get another piece of equipment. In case something happens to the Jitte. Getting the Sword of Fire and Ice here is pretty good. So now on my next turn, I have, like, put in Jitte, equip Flicker Wisp. I do nothing a lot. It will happen one evening this week. I'll post a schedule once I get home and talk to some people. Alright, my opponent just gives it up there. They're the sole resident of Frowntown. I like that. So game 2, win with double equip. Next. I mean, Denkin, are you not going to test against goblins? Because I'm going to test against goblins. Because people are going to be playing goblins. Depending on where the meta goes, like, there might be 3% or so of the metagame as goblins. Yeah, exactly. Like, goblins is so good against some decks. And we need to see, like, where the metagame goes to see if, like, goblins will be a reasonable choice for the field. And there's a very real chance that the answer is yes, if Miracles is really, really good, then Goblins is one of the best ways to just, like, absolutely poop on that deck. It's obnoxious. So I think I'm fine with throwing the swords at this Delver and not caring if it gets dazed, so that I can resolve a Thalia. Ooh. Upside. Ooh. Or do I just, like, waste and play Mom now? Yeah, I like that better. Mom probably eats a bolt. No! Ooh, Mom lives. Man, these draws. These draws, though. So, Waste and Vial is great. Just jamming Thalia is great. Both of these are, like... I think this is pretty clear. That was a stellar draw. Everything has gone right for us this game. A, we got paired against Delver. B, we had our Swords to Plowshares resolve. C, we had our Vial resolve and got to waste them twice. Yeah, Brightling is getting pretty pricey. And Rug can beat D&T. It is just very, very difficult. I lost a match to Rug the other day. I could pull up my matchup notes to see what happened. Oh, I flooded both games. Yeah, so it can happen. It can happen. It's just very difficult to happen. Stellar. I'm fine with just taking this. like I should have considered Flicker Wisp on my end step while my opponent didn't have Stifle up. But I wanted them to attack in with the Delver to try to ambush it, and they would have just attacked in with like a Tarmogoyf potentially. Alright, so how do I want to go this from here? Like, obviously, I'm going to do, like, the Flicker Wisp block here. And then I think I'm even willing to just, like, block the Tarmogoyf and protect, and if my opponent has a Bolt, they can get rid of, like, one of my creatures chosen at random, but I don't really care about that. I'm going to think about that for a second, though. I don't know, like, how good this Thalia is right now. There's two Tarmogoyfs floating around, so there's another out in exile. Am I just okay with taking 3? So if I just like block and protect, I stay at 14. The Tarmogoyfs will grow up to 4 5s. I can try to trade 2 creatures for them, or I can just like put in a Brightling and give lifelink. It's kind of a wash. I'm gonna take the 3. Or I can just like Flicker Wisp Pro Blue. I don't hate that. If my opponent has a Bolt, they throw it here, and then I just repeat the same thing the next turn. I think I'm fine with that. So this eats the days that I know about, which is fine. Okay, is there anything I would like to do more than just put Brightling into play? Alright, so let's go through the hypotheticals. If I just like go to my opponent's turn, put in Brightling, I can grow Brightling up to 5 toughness and just like block with Brightling. Then I can go on my turn, gain 4 with it. Alternatively, I can just like Recruiter of the Guard for Stoneforge Mystic. I could also get kind of risky and like Brightling up to 5 power pro green in front of a Tarmogoyf. I don't hate that. They didn't have the bolt last turn. And then that doesn't expose me to a counterspell. Yeah, I'm on board for getting saucy and exposing the Brightling to danger. Goyf person, I'm not playing Palace Jailer in my 75. Yeah, I have access to a Crusader, but I can't, like, Crusader plus put it into play since I don't have 3 mana. Or we can just, like, draw the Crusader. That'd be fine, too. So now I can attack in with both of these safely. Once or twice I've drawn so well that tutoring was completely irrelevant, yes. I know that life. Oh, no, sorry, like, for whoever asked about, like, Remorseful Cleric, Remorseful Cleric only nukes 1 graveyard, it's Tormod's Crypt, so if I, like, either person that I Tormod's Crypt, I'm not getting rid of everything, right? So Tarmogoyf wouldn't actually shrink by that much, probably only, like, 1. So I could go 5, 6, 7 on an attack on my turn, or I can just, like, put in this Crusader. Do I want a Recruiter for anything? Am I the aggressor? Like, am I, like, thoroughly aggressor at this point? I can just put in Crusader, attack with Crusader. I can put in Crusader, attack with both Brightling and Crusader. If my opponent double blocks, I can kill their Goyf. So, like, alternatively, I can, like, Recruiter the Guard, get a Flicker Wisp, Goyf, attack in with both of these. My opponent won't block. Then I can gain another 4 and try to ambush the Goyf with Crusader. Alright, opponent gives up. Alright, so Rug Delver win. Game 1 win with Brightling. Alright, so against Rug, I want my paths. I'll consider Council's Judgment. I want Rip. I want Brightling. I would consider Prelate, but probably not. Alright. I don't want my Revokers. I don't want my Recruiters. So, I need to respect the possibility of True Name Nemesis. Like, Prelate is acceptable. Like, if I board 6 cards, it would probably be these 6. Like, Council's Judgment is nice because it can answer Mongoose and True Name. But, like, I have too many good cards in this matchup and, like, not enough cards to board out. Like, I have 4 easy board outs, and then from there it's a little bit trickier. You can't really make just declarative statements like they're going to have 1 to 2 true names at least in the current metagame. Like the metagame is too young to say, hey, I know exactly what they're going to do with their flex slots. No, I'm not boarding out Cleric. It trades with Delver. I don't know if Prelate is better than, like, just keeping that 4th Thalia in there. So, like, against, like, a Grixis or a Bug Delver deck, I wouldn't even consider playing Prelate. Against Rug, I don't know. I'm still closer to the side of it's not good than it is good. Like, I know how many of their cards it shuts off, but, like, you don't lose the games to their cantrips. You lose the games to their threats that get ahead of you. I accept. Alright, my opponent whiffs on this brainstorm. They're probably pretty dead. A-okay with drawing a second Thalia in case the other one gets dazed, forced, or bolted. Yeah, Prelate shuts off your own removal spells, which I don't like. It also comes down at the point where you've, like, probably already made a play that may win you the game, so... What do I want to do this turn? Whatever I play is resolving, period. So I can just, like, resolve the Brightling here. I can Flicker with the Goyf and get in for some damage and try to take the role of the aggressor. Yeah, I have my own Thalia in play, so the taxation is real. So everything I play is going to expose me to something different. Like, if I play Flicker Wisp, a Fork Bolt is backbreaking. If I play Brightling, a Lightning Bolt is bad. If I play Stoneforge, an Ancient Grudge is bad if my opponent does get another land. I think I'm fine with just playing Stoneforge. I kind of like playing a 3-drop so that if I draw another land, I can go Stoneforge and Path in the same turn. The Fork Bolt would suck, though. Yeah, I don't want to expose myself to that Fork Bolt like that. I'm going to play Stoneforge Mystic, leaving up a white source. And then, if my opponent removes this Thalia, I can Path that Goyf. Damage Buster, do you not think about your plays? Because I do. The clock is a resource on Magic Online. It's wise to use it. So this is actually quite good for me. So I can path this Goyf. So you like Sword in and Path. I'm going to disagree with you, and I'm going to play Thalia. I want to strain my opponent's resources. They're mana light, and I'm aware of that. So I want to maximize the strain that I'm placing on them because my cards are very powerful. Everything's probably a path to victory this turn. I'm going to play a second Stoneforge, getting a Batter Skull, and then attack with Thalia. Yes, Brightling is that good. Alright, there's the Bolt that I successfully played around by playing, like, both by not going for a Sword Equip attack and by playing the Stoneforge pre-combat. What do you got for me, opponent? It's gotta be a pretty spicy meatball. Nimble Mongoose is not a spicy enough meatball right now. That is a green 1/1 with Trout. I don't care about the Thalia. Like, I will 100% give my opponent that Thalia there in order to put this Batter Skull in play. Well, I'm glad that's not an Ancient Grudge. Do I just do it? I think I just do it. Like, Prelate versus Sword Equip Smash is close. So my potential lines are Jam Prelate to shut off 1-drops, Sword Equip Smash, play Flicker with Flicker a land, put in Sword, or play Brightling and hold protection up. I think... I think that since I have such a strong hand, I'm going to capitalize on that fact by locking out a bunch of their cards. Sure, rough tumble would be difficult to beat, sure. But even that's not all that scary, right? Alright, they rough tumble, they take care of two things that I've already cantripped, and then I play Brightling. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, things are pretty good in Phil City over here. That's for sure. Alright, so now I'll just play a Brightling with protection up. And that will beat the ever-loving crap out of a Mongoose if it resolves. If it doesn't resolve, I will just play another Brightling. If the Delver doesn't flip, I would love to have both of these blockers back. So I can jump with one and keep the Delver from attacking. So no attacks here. Gain 3 life. There is still a Jete in the deck. But we're just going to tap out for this little fella. Yes, I am aware that the Jete isn't happening. Never mind, the Jete might happen now. No flip again. Tarmogoyf would be slightly annoying. Alright, so I can go like attack with Brightling, they'll block with Tarmogoyf. I can go pump, 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 lifelink, gain 5, trade with Tarmogoyf, be at 14, potentially take 6. Or I can go just like flicker with my Stoneforge, get Jete. Or I can just not attack, hold this back. No, that's bad if they flip the Delver. I can also just give it Vigilance if I'm not going to do anything extra with my mana. So I can go Vigilance, pump, pump, lifelink. A Ponder. Opponent shuffled with Ponder. Rest in Peace isn't bad. I'm actually just going to unflip the Delver. just want to finish this game. I have to pee so bad. Yay, I did it. I'll be right back, chat. I'll pull up the deck list, though, for you to take a look at. If you have any questions, throw them in the chat. Alright, so good afternoon, everyone. My name's Phil Gallagher. I run Thraben University. Today we are streaming with Mono White Got the Taxes featuring Brightling. We are 2-0 in our current league. Brightling has overperformed. It has been very powerful. I've been quite pleased with it. And I'm not surprised that it has the price tag that it does. And I've won the die roll going into the next round. Can't complain too much about that. This is a decisively average hand. It's not a mulligan by any stretch of the imagination. I have a set of varied tools, but it is not really an explicitly powerful hand. Flicker Wisp is really good when it's paired with something else. You know, Swords to Plowshares could be a dud against my opponent's deck. I don't have a ton of pressure to use with my Mana Denial. Okay, so we're playing against Death Shadow Delver. And my opponent thought uses me. Okay, so 2 questions from the chat. 1, do you think D&T is going to be well positioned? Yes, I very much expect that a tuned version of D&T will be very well positioned in the current metagame. The D&T decks might need to change a little bit. Second question was, what's going on with the recruiter that's in the sideboard? So the recruiter is there for attrition-based matchups like Miracles, for matchups where you want specific cards like Canonist or Remorseful Cleric or Prelate or something like that, and it's essentially a good filler card for when some of your cards aren't particularly powerful. So when you need to board something out, but your generic hate cards aren't good, Prelate is a great board in. So it comes in for places like Miracles, the Mirror, graveyard-based decks, Storm. It's just pretty generically solid. Did today's deck list dump already happen? I didn't see it if it did happen. Yeah, no problem. Happy to help. Opponent's down to 8. Death Shadow's live. Death Shadow's gonna be kind of sad about the Swords to Plowshare, though. Yeah, for Legacy specifically, once a week on Saturday. Yeah, he knows about the Swords to Plowshares, so that means there's either a counterspell for this, or he's willing to just let this go. I'm kind of surprised that my opponent can play like a Death Shadow Delver deck that has 2 basics in it. It's kind of surprising to me. I wonder if like that means anything. That's a big fish. Look at that big fish. You take that life. Okay, let me clarify what I'm saying, because it's probably not clear. The Death Shadow Delver deck needs to run both Underground Seas and Watery Graves, so I'm just surprised that the opponent has room in their deck list for like multiple Underground Seas and Watery Graves and basics, as well as the fetches and presumably Wasteland. So I have 3, 4, 5. I can just have lethal next turn if I play the Brightling, or I can waste and port. But most of my opponent's cards only cost like a single mana. Like Gurmag and Death, maybe coupled alongside Thalia, the port plus Wasteland is relevant. Yeah, alright. Talk myself into it. I think if they have basics, they're not on a 3rd color. Romario, thank you very much for auto-hosting. Hondo, have you seen any bug shadow lists that have 2 basics, though? Because that's slightly surprising to me. Remorseful Cleric has overperformed in the main deck. I'm gonna get to do some pretty cute stuff in this next turn cycle, I think. Wow! Does that mean they have a second big fish? Or a Death Shadow? Second big fish. Okay, so I can attack in with both creatures. My opponent blocks 1. I use 1 mana to bounce whichever one they block, and then I use the remaining 2 to 3 mana to deploy the remaining creature. Then my opponent has to hold both critters back. So the obligatory block is on Brightling. Now I'll bounce that. Technically should have done this after first strike. Damage. Yeah, 100% agreed. I should have just pumped it up to 6 toughness. Alright, so what happens now? I block a Gurmag Angler, deal 2 to it with first strike, can't kill it afterwards. But I'm obligated to block. Yeah, I might lose this one because I didn't just grow it to an 06. All right, that one was on me. I messed that one up. All right, so game 1 loss via punt. Should have grown Brightling to 0-6 instead of bounce. So after first strike damage, I can grow Thalia to 5 toughness and it wouldn't live, or I could shrink it by 1. Like I was just kind of off there. No worries. All right, so path in, rip in, Brightling and CJ in, Revokers out, Recruiters out. Then it's a little trickier from there. Maybe I don't need the council's judgments. Maybe that's overboarding. Like six pieces of removal might be enough. Is Rip good enough for just Gurmag? I feel like the answer is yes, because it's going to be like a 4x Gurmag deck, right? Like, it's either I play Rip to answer Gurmags, or I play a Council's Judgment. I just have a greater density of answers. Like, I could just do this and just board in 4 removal spells, or consider, like, this Cleric out and this Council's Judgment in as well, and just have, like, a great degree of answers. But the Cleric does actually trade with Delver, so I probably want to keep that. Like, I have a small sample size versus this deck, so I can't really say with authority. This hand will be pretty insane if the Vial resolves. If the Vial doesn't resolve, this hand is medium. Dread of Night would be unacceptable. Ooh. So now I have a Vial and a Thalia. Life's good. I enjoy the art on the EMA Mom. However, I do not think it looks like a Mother of Runes. Therefore, that doesn't go in my deck. So, there's a real question of whether or not I actually should use this Swords to Plowshares. I could just not give my Thalia Pro Black, crash in for 4, put my opponent to 5, grow the Death Shadow, but just don't care about it. Because I've got the Brightling coming down in another turn or two. But I will go ahead and remove the Death Shadow. If my opponent's life total was just like a tiny bit different, I could have gotten like super spicy and gone for like an attack in with Thalia, they block with Death Shadow, like Swords the Delver sort of thing. But it would have been like super risky because of Force of Will changing their life total at instant speed as well as Street Wraith. Was a big fish. Lol. Alright, do I like just hitting for 4 here? Probably. I might take 8 on the Crackback, but then I play Brightling. Or, alternatively, I just leave Mom up, block with Brightling, give Pro Black Lifelink Pump. That's better. Of course I'm curious about the metagame at Worcester. But this is when I have time to stream. I'm on a very limited schedule right now due to Latin Academy. Tomorrow's the last day of that, though, so then I'll be at a more regular schedule. Is this how drawing multiple true names feels? Basically. I mean, you have to work a little bit harder with Brightling than you do with True Name Nemesis. Ooh, going to 5. That is brave. No attacks. Okay, so if I attack in with all 3 of my creatures, whatever Gurmag has to block Brightling. Then I can probably trade Cleric for Delver. and get in for 2, and then finish off with a second Brightling. Interesting. I can just, like, violin the other Brightling right here and just sack that. But my mom is probably just worse than the other Brightling. So I'm gonna let mom go. What the hell does this do? Target player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. If there are 4 more types among cards in your graveyard instead, that okay. It's an edict. That's how Legacy works, right? Anything released in the past year you need to read when it's played, and it's acceptable to do so. Alright, so game 2 win with... It's really some combination of Brightling and Mom there. The Thalia helped as well. I think on the draw, I want this second Council's Judgment. So maybe, like, on the draw, I trim one of my Thalias for a Council's Judgment. Fanime, the Brightlings have been very good. I'm very, very happy with this list as a whole. The main deck feels just about perfect. The sideboard might need some tuning. So I don't have pressure, but I am not dying. Sheldy, the Remorseful Cleric is better than I thought it would be. Oh, Mirror Crusader. Bye, buddy. The cleric is an aggressive 2/1. Ooh, opponent does not have blue mana, so that wasteland was stellar, and this port is going to buy me a whole lot of time. The cleric, when it's bad, is still a 2/1 aggressive flyer at 2 mana, and that is not to be underestimated. The deck list is posted below the stream. You would like to dismember it. How about instead I just keep you further away from a Gurmag Angler? How does that sound? Yeah, Brightling is shooting up. Card is Dees, as they say. I don't see a compelling reason why I should be playing Factory. It doesn't mean it's wrong. I just don't see a reason right now why that is a flex land I want. Not even a brainstorm. I think my opponent is going to have, like, Gurmag Anglers, Ponders, and Counter Magic in hand. Those are the things that make sense based on not taking any plays. I respect that. I respect that line. All right, so game 3, win. via mana denial. Alright, up to 3-0 in this league. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Phil Gallagher. I run Thraben University. Today I'm streaming with Mono White D&T. This will be my last match of the morning. I have lunch at noon. So I hope you've been enjoying my legacy content. I'm trying to stream as much as I can. Tomorrow is my last day of Latin Academy. Today they're performing a play in Latin, and tomorrow they pack up and go home. So more regular stream times will probably start happening beginning Tuesday or Wednesday. I've got a couple of things queued up for you. I have some donation deck lists. I have 2 Stoneblade streams and a bonus Brightling stream queued up for you. And I owe you some NickFit streams. So here are the approximate deck lists I was looking at while we were waiting. I found these lists on the NickFit Discord, and they were very happy to talk me through some things. Come on. Come on, Moda. Alright, so how do NickFit players do this? Version 1 is an Arena Rector-based deck that tries to accelerate out Ugin. And version 2 is a NickFit Sneak Attack hybrid deck that also plays Punishing Fire and Faithless Looting. But more on those later. I am not even playing 1 Cavern of Souls. I'm not sold on that card currently. This is a solid hand. No complaints. I have tools for a variety of matchups. Man, I am so good at Magic. Opponent was F6'd there, so they don't have counterspells currently. That's good to know. That means I can kind of like jam that Thalia with impunity. I hate Canopy. The life loss matters so much. And Flagstones isn't really good with Red Prison running around. Cabal Therapy. Well, what's my opponent playing? Are they just Storm? Bayou is interesting. I kind of want more information before I use this Revoker. Actually, no, I don't. Like, we can just, like, throw this Revoker down. If I'm wrong, I can reset it with Flicker Wisp, right? Minifer, I haven't heard the legend of Darth Brightling the Wise. It's not a legend the Elves players would tell you. I'm gonna revoke LED Blind. My opponent is F6'd on my turn. I think that means Storm. Alurin. I love the chat sometimes. Okay, I have options this turn. Option 1, reset Revoker. Option 2, Swords to Plowshares Baleful Strix so that it can't be used for Cabal Therapy. Then cast Stoneforge, then put in Stoneforge, get Jitte in there. Option 3, play Crusader. End of opponent's turn, Stoneforge for Jitte, get Jitte, go. But my opponent knows I have the Stoneforge, so they would have to Cabal Therapy with their Baleful Strix. I can also just, like, play super conservatively, like, Swords to Strix, attack for 2, port them off Bayou. So that was their turn, and they missed a land drop. So maybe I should just, like, remove the Strix, use Revoker as pressure, and then port Bayou. That's what I'm going to do. Well, I don't need to reset the Revoker just yet. I've got time on that front. Why is my opponent fetching and doing nothing with it? Do they just, like, really enjoy F6ing? So I can attack for 3, put my opponent to 14, put in Crusader. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's a 2-turn clock. I'll have them almost dead if I spike a land. Yeah, I don't even think I need this equipment. What's my clock if I Flicker Wisp a land? So it's still 2 turns. I go Flicker Wisp out, Trop. I attack for 6, that puts them to 8. Then I put in Crusader, that's 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. Even if they play 1 blocker, that still works. That's probably pretty good. It'll also prevent them from decaying because I'll stagger their mana out. Alright, So do I want to put this sword on? It would be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Or I can just hit for 6. Or I can hit for 5, put sword in, and Crusader. Alright, what if I hit for 5? If I hit for 5, that puts my opponent to 9. Then I have 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so then I still have lethal the next turn. So let's do that. So for any newer players or players not used to like watching Death and Taxes, Flicker Wisp is like secretly one of the best cards in the deck. It doesn't get as much praise as it deserves, but it's like super frustrating to play against because of shit like this. Alright, so playing against Lauren, I win. So game 1, win via mana denial. Now we go to sideboarding. So probably want Relic Order, Prelate. Council's Judgment, Recruiter, Canonist. I don't want Swords to Plowshares. That's not a good trade against a value-oriented deck. So those can go. And really, a lot of my cards are quite mediocre against this deck. Like, the Cleric is an amazing versus Strix. Revoker, while good against their combo portion, is bad against their value portion. Brightling is bad against Strix, and it can get gummed up by the board. So there's all that. This game's probably going to go very long, so I can probably safely cut 1 land. And then I just need to trim. Like trim 1 Brightling, 1 Thalia. Trim 1 Brightling, 1 Flicker Wisp. Actually, I can trim Remorseful Cleric as well. Alright, do you want to play Palace Jailer against a Baleful Strix deck? I don't think so. Palace Jailer also is not in my deck. Like, Palace Jailer is a reasonable card and all, but I'm not a huge fan. It's just like such a high risk, high reward card, and I'm looking to decrease, not increase variance. Okay, I understand that. I'm sorry, opponent. I'm so sorry. I did you dirty. that's necessary. I'll be interested to see if they take the 2-for-1 and get both Wisps, or whether they just, like, take out my Thalia. The first Cabal Therapy named Aether Vial. Alright, opponent takes the Flicker Wisps. Play a non-basic land for me. I guess that's technically what they asked for. They probably have a forest to get. Luren's really basic heavy. Oh, come on, hit a non-creature spell. Hit a non-creature spell. Yeah! The value. So what color am I supposed to port them off of? Do I port them off of Discard? Do I port them off of Ponders? Or do I port them off of green? I can't Allurin this turn. Kind of want to protect my hand. I should probably port them off of one of these two so they can't, like, Baleful Strix. And I guess that means I'll port off Island. If I port off Island, they can Brainstorm right now. But if they did, I could put in Canonist, and then that's the end of their turn. I'd love to draw like a Stoneforge Mystic, or a Recruiter, or a Brightling, something that really gives me something else to do with my mana. Alright, Dreamstalker bounces their Shardless Agent, they get slow value that way. I'll leave my Vial at 2 for this turn, I think. Let's take a quick math check. Yeah, I'll leave it at 2 for now. Oh, interesting, they returned the Tropical Island. It's kind of neat. So I can just continue to port them, but I can't port and play Jitte. Is that fine? My opponent can't cast Allurin on their turn. If I play the Jitte, they might be able to Abrupt Decay it, but it's going to be like a 1-turn window where like they can Abrupt Decay it or I win. Or I can try to get to 5 mana to just like Jitte and equip in one go. This is interesting. Alright, Decay or Bust over there. Oh, shoot, shoot, shoot. That was bad. Oh, I fucked that up. Wow. God, I feel stupid. Oh yeah, 100% unquestionable punt. Uh. All right. So I can just Council Judgment, Shardless Agent, put Jete on Canonist, and get in there. But I kind of feel like there's an Abrupt Decay here somewhere. How do I get myself out of this mess that I just put myself into? It's so bad. I think one of my cards is getting decayed. No. Sure. Okay. So I can Wasteland my opponent. I can Wasteland my opponent off this Underground Sea. Recruiter for Crusader. Play Crusader, pass. I like that. I don't really think my opponent has a Lurin. Hey, well, I'm happy you got to catch me live then. You know, I'm doing this whole content production thing, you know, mostly for you all, and I'm just very happy to see people enjoying Magic and playing Magic, and especially, like, Legacy. In the past, like, 2 weeks here, I've had so many views. Like, I've been between 1 and 200 viewers most of the time that I've been live, just because, like, people are having so much fun, like, watching and exploring this new format in the post-ban world. And that makes me really happy. Decay the Jitte. Sure. Alright, do I have lethal next turn? If I play Stoneforge, it's 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 damage. Stoneforge for Sword of Fire and Ice. It's pretty close to lethal. I should probably just do that rather than port my opponent. I'm pretty confident in saying they don't have the Allurant given like the play lines that have happened this game. What are you recruiting for, opponent? That's probably a very real question right now. This is game 2. I sideboarded. I won game 1. Allurant's a fun deck. The skill ceiling is very high on it as well, and it's not particularly well played, so people make a lot of mistakes playing against it. Legacy is a very wide open format, Stratos. You can do largely whatever you want right now, so long as it is powerful. We'll see where the metagame goes in a few weeks. It's my suspicion that, like, Miracles, Reanimator, D&T, Rug Delver are probably some of the decks to keep your eyes on. Alright, opponent, I got lunch at noon. Let's boogie. Eternal Witness. Okay. That's fine. So they can't actually cast this Eternal Witness because I'm going to wasteland this Taiga. And I am going to get aggressive. So I'm going to... I think I can afford to get aggressive. So I think I Council's Judgment, Dreamstalker off the battlefield, attack with everything. Recruiter probably chump blocks Crusader. And my opponent takes 2, going to 9. Oh, they do still have a Tropical in hand. Yeah, that's true. Well, I'm still wastelanding this Taiga, like that's just happening. Alright, so let's get rid of that. I guess I can just, like, port them off of the Eternal Witness and just... No, if I just attack him with Crusader, it gets walled by Dreamstalker. No, I don't have a Ghost Quarter. Shoot. So they can Witness for Strix to just draw a card. don't really care about that. All those stuff, all those things just are Mirror Crusader food. No, they're taking out my recruiter. I don't know if I like that. They might just have a Lurin and they just like go off. Nope. Alright, so Witness. Ooh, targeting the Taiga. Okay, so they want to make land drops. Alright, so I attack with Crusader, I put him to 2. I intend on having Stoneforge Mystic block Vengeful Rebel so that I don't just like die to that. And I'm not going to play this land to bluff that I have something. Yeah, I'm aware that I lose to a removal spell, but like I need to pressure my opponent. I also probably just die to my opponent having a recruiter, right? Just because like that's a blocker for Mirror Crusader, and then I just get aggroed out with idiots over the course of 2 turns. Talk to me about why you wanted to port the swamp. I ported a green source so my opponent could not play Olurin. So I don't think we should have ported the swamp. Okay, yep, sure, that's fair. Oh man, you've been subbed for 5 months now. Thank you very much for your support, and yes, happy Sunday. Yep, alright, I agree, porting the swamp was better. Sorry, you forget things when you're bouncing back and forth between the chat and the game. For those of you that stream, you know what I mean. Yeah, it does smell like nothing. Alright, the recruiter is very good. That blocks the Crusader. Flicker Wisp would be stellar. Sword of Fire and Ice is already in the graveyard. Okay. So, do I need to block? Parasitic... Yeah, I need to block, because if I don't block, then Parasitic Strix will just kill me on the next turn around. Ha! If I was playing this in a paper tournament, I would have ported their forest during my draw step. Let the record show. Opponent says, man, I hate this game. Alright. So game 2, win with Crusader. Card's great. Alright, let's get this back to normal here. So, my main deck has felt very, very good. I like the Clerics, I like the Brightlings, I like having access to the one of Crusader. I still want my Batterskull. Like, I understand it's a little bit clunky sometimes, but I still want it there. And I think the 24th land is worth it, despite the fact that every once in a while you will flood out marginally more. I've been very happy with this main deck. Again, sideboard can potentially use some tweaking still, but I'm very, very happy with it. To just follow up on that question, yes, Brightling is very, very good. It is a very impressive card. It is a great late-game mana sink, and it's super annoying to play against, and people mess up with it, including myself sometimes. I definitely punted one game today. Sure, I can talk about the third recruiter on the board. So the third recruiter here serves two purposes. One, it is a generically good card to board in when you don't have something to board out. Two, it is an additional copy of your key cards in certain matchups. You know, minus Brightling, basically. And three, it's just good for attrition-based matchups, things like Miracles, where the games are going to go super long, where you can just, like, Recruiter for Flicker Wisp, Recruiter, and just, like, keep that engine going. Having more copies of that makes it more likely to get it going. Alright, folks, I'm going to go ahead and call it here. My name is Phil Gallagher. I run ThrabenU University. Please follow my channel if you're interested in legacy content and you enjoy what I'm doing here. And if you really like what I'm doing, consider subscribing or doing a donation deck list to support me playing a lot of Legacy and creating great content for you all. This is my last stream at Latin Academy here. Expect to see me probably Tuesday night. I'll post in the usual places once I have a better idea. Thank you very much, everyone, and good afternoon.